Yeah.
Why the increase in the number of PCOS patients in dermatology clinic? The thing is, PCOD is a comprehensive, it's a syndrome with many kinds of symptoms, and you'll be surprised that a lot of these symptoms are related to skin and hair. What silent symptoms you see in a patient and conclude to the diagnosis, yeah, this is the case of PCOS.
Yeah. What are those blood tests that you get done for PCOD patients? PCOS patients should be monitored for lipid profile. Is it correct that only those who are very overweight or obese will have PCOD?
50% of the PCOS do not suffer from obesity.
What's your management going to be like? Treatment कैसे करेंगे? Right.
So, do you recommend anti-androgens to your female patients? Ma'am, do you feel like we are diagnosing PCOS more often than the gynecologist these days?
Yeah.
Don't you think so? Like,
Yeah.
why the increase in the number of PCOS patients in dermatology clinic?
That's correct. Actually, the thing is, PCOD is a comprehensive, it's a syndrome with many kinds of symptoms, and you'll be surprised that a lot of these symptoms are related to skin and hair. For example, we see PCOD patients having acne or oily skin, hirsutism, that is increase in the hair growth in the chin area or the mustache area, the beard area, or thinning of hair. So quite often patients don't know they are suffering from PCOD and they come to us with these symptoms, and upon inquiry and upon investigations, we get to know that they indeed have PCOD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, what is your approach? Like, what silent symptoms you see in a patient and conclude to the diagnosis? Yeah, this is the case of PCOS.
Yeah. So actually, look, theoretically, there is something called the Rotterdam criteria. So there are 3 things, and out of these 3 things, 2 should be positive in order to make a diagnosis of PCOD. The first is reduction in flow during periods or very prolonged cycles. That is, interval between periods is very long. So that's the first thing. The second is clinical and biochemical evidence of hyperandrogenism. That means the hormones, androgenic hormones, जो मेल टाइप hormones होते हैं फीमेल बॉडीज में, उनका इंक्रीज होता है, चाहे हम वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन से या क्लिनिकल फीचर्स देखते हैं. And the third is, when we get an ultrasound of the pelvis done, we see cysts in the ovary or the ovarian volume increases. So you diagnose a lot of PCOD, Dr. Neha.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are those blood tests that you get done for PCOD patients?
I go for, firstly, I look the silent symptoms, and if they match with the PCOS, then I go for some investigations like hormonal profile and sonography. Hormonal profile, like hormones like LH, FSH, free testosterone, and dihydroepiandrosterone sulfate hormone, and prolactin, thyroid profile. I go for these hormonal investigation on, especially on day 2nd or 3rd. And I go for an ultrasound abdomen and pelvis on 5th day of the menstrual cycle. So if the patient comes with abnormal hormone profile and sonography consistent with the report of hormonal profile, and diagnosis of PCOS is made.
PCOS is made.
Yes.
Correct. And also, PCOS is, like I was saying earlier, it's a very syndromic thing. So along with these signs, there are comorbidities, meaning there may be issues that are associated with the metabolism. So PCOS patients should be monitored for lipid profile. Their blood pressure should be monitored. Their glucose should be monitored. Sometimes you get insulin tests as well, because these are symptoms that they can land up with. So they can have symptoms of insulin resistance, like acanthosis nigricans, that is darkening of the skin folds and skin tags developing, obesity, right? Which is again interesting. So, when we're talking about obesity or weight gain and PCOD, is it correct that only those who are very overweight or obese will have PCOD?
No, ma'am, that's the interesting point here, that 50% of the PCOS do not suffer from obesity. They are very lean and thin girls, do not have signs symptoms of acne or any hirsutism, but still they diagnose with PCOS because the insulin resistance level is very high in them.
Right.
So insulin resistant per se can also cause PCOS.
That's a very interesting point, because people often correlate these two things.
Yeah.
That PCOD can only happen with.
People come to me and ask that I am not obese, I do not have acne and hirsutism. Why I am diagnosed with PCOS? But this is the reason.
Okay, so now you've arrived at the diagnosis of PCOD. So what's your management going to be like? Treatment कैसे करेंगे?
Okay. For treatment option, Dr. Richa, first line of treatment is lifestyle modification. One should exercise daily at least 30 minutes a day and at least 5 times a week.
Correct. That's the WHO recommendation.
Yeah. And secondly, diet.
Yes.
The portion size should be reduced and increase fiber intake and decrease carbohydrate and fat in your diet. Then when we talk about medication, the first line treatment is oral contraceptive pills.
Oral control.
They will
Birth control.
birth control pills, and they will normalize the hormonal level.
Okay.
Okay, the level of androgens will be reduced by them only.
Absolutely.
Then other new modalities like anti-androgens.
Right.
So do you recommend anti-androgens to your female patients?
Yes,
more?
sometimes there are contraindications for oral contraceptive pills. Like
Yeah.
people who are trying to conceive, we can't prescribe them birth control pills. So we do have some anti-androgen drugs. Anti-androgen मतलब जो androgen levels बढ़े हुए हैं, PCOD के अंदर the androgen levels are higher, which is causing all the symptoms. So in order to reduce them, we have certain drugs like aldactone or cyproterone acetate. So these drugs will reduce androgen levels. But the fact is that you have to give these drugs for a prolonged period of time, whether it is oral contraceptive, you will agree with me, or anti-androgens. 6 to 8 months of treatment is needed for us to start seeing effects. Yeah. Then the other thing is like, you have to look at it holistically. For example, you very clearly mentioned that it's most important that lifestyle changes are brought about. It's also very important that you do medication when and where it is needed. And then you go for skin treatments.
Yeah, lasers are the first line of treatment for hirsutism.
Absolutely. Lasers are important, and I think there's a bit of a fear about lasers that, we can talk about it later. But yes, lasers and topical treatments for acne and topical treatments for hair growth. So when we look and treat a patient holistically, it leads to a much better outcome.
Yeah.